Hey there, Shopping Maniacs. You're listening to another episode of Shop Talk Show. This one's not sad.
Yeah.
This take is happy.
No?
This take's great. Yeah, Chris. It's
Dude,
great.
we're doing take 3 because my home internet's
three.
weird. You
Yeah.
know, like you had some stuff to say, but I just because I'm thinking about it because this just happened to us. I saw in one of my local Slack groups. You know, I don't know if you're in any like Austin one, but I'm in like a couple of different Ben Tech ones. You know, yeah. And they're like ghost towns, except for once in a while somebody will have an interesting question and people will have ideas. But one guy's like, is there like a network guy I can hire? WAN, LAN, etc. He writes, to come just like diagnose what's going on with my network. We've talked about this a little bit in the past, but it's like a subgenre of tech that is very interesting. And there's a lot to know, and I just don't know any of it, especially because I don't know if it was you or somebody has like seeded my mind with this idea that little, very unexpected things can go very wrong with your otherwise good Wi-Fi specifically network. One of those things is that you have a device on your network that supports only old protocols in the way that Wi-Fi was designed. It's like, oh, well, I need to support them. So everyone gets a degraded experience. It pulls them all down. And how do you know? Do you know every single thing in your house that connects to the internet? How's your printer doing over there? I just went upstairs and turned it off because I'm like, I have a Wi-Fi printer. I don't know if it's any good. And in fact, I believe that they'd be incentivized to not put expensive Wi-Fi componentry in it because nobody wants to buy a $500 printer. They want to buy a $112 printer.
Like a printer with those like spider antennas at the back. That would be awesome.
Sure. I got an Apple TV sitting here that connects. How's it doing? Like maybe that one's fine, but I don't know. Maybe my TV got connected and it's also a bit. I don't know.
That Temu camera you bought your kids? Yeah, probably not.
Right?
Yeah.
Probably not. I can't even think of all this stuff that is connecting and like, does it matter if there's a device that's like pinging it, like trying to connect? Because I'm in this house at the moment that has this doorbell that I haven't wired up yet. And I'm sure it's trying, it sees the network, but I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So all that to say, like somebody knows how to like roll into a house with a little bit of software, hardware, maybe, and just see what's going on my network, make some suggestions, make some tweaks. They can even try to sell me something. Maybe they can be like, hey, you got this Eero router, but I'm telling you, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Here's a different one. I'm going to hook it up correctly. I'm going to place it physically in your house correctly. I'm going to add extenders if that's even a thing that matters anymore, or a mesh network. I don't even know what. I can just wing it. I can be like, I don't know, Google makes routers that I think they look nice anyway, and they connect to my Google Home app, but I don't hate because I'm like allergic to configuring my router by going to 127.0.0.2 or whatever, and that brings up some ancient web interface that I've lost the password to. Like, are those days over?
Yeah. No, I think like if you can chase this. This is how I will squander all my personal wealth. Like my whole piggy bank is going to fixing Wi-Fi in my house. I don't know. I wish this person existed. I wonder if I've had somebody come to my house and wire Ethernet cable, and that was like successful. Had that on a couple of occasions.
Right.
So
seems like a good idea. Like even today, even with all the advancements in 802.11 technology, nothing beats a cable, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a subgenre of like audio visual, the TV guys that are going and hooking up your TV and putting it in the routing the cable through the wall to get you zero seamless cable sort of situation. Those are cool. That's cool. There's this spot. I'm going to tell you exactly where it is. My driveway. I get into my car, right?
Yep.
And what do you do when you get in your car? You turn it on, you put it in reverse.
Find the podcast or the song
you find the song, play. Try to do that. Guess what? Can't do that. Libby can't connect to the internet from there, but it thinks it's online. So it's a Li-Fi situation. Spotify thinks it's online, but it can't. So it'll either like jump to this offline playlist and like play some like garbage I've had, for like decades, like
Right, some like
decades
Butthole
old tune.
Surfers song.
Yeah, just some old tune that is got cached on the device somehow, and then it just starts playing, and then I have to drive away from my house about 100 yards or like 50 yards, and then
forget about the Wi-Fi. Then I'll get back on LTE or whatever.
And now I can play your songs. Now I can get an audiobook going. It is just rough. It's not a 911 problem. Although that would be funny to like call 911. Just like, hello, yes, I have no Wi-Fi. What's that's so good. Anyway, okay, call 911. My Wi-Fi is not. Oh, don't say that around the phone. Anyway, my Wi-Fi is not working. I think that'd be funny, but like, I don't get it, man. I wish it was easier to debug. I wish it was easier, like you said, like a consultant to come in and be like, hey, sure, just set this up. But I don't need nerd shit either, right? I don't need the dude coming in and be like, you gotta get the Ubiquity 9042, or whatever. I just need it to like work. I need it to be consistent. I need
or find obvious things that are wrong, as well as like being able to give me some tools for diagnosis. Because I'm like, okay, so it's a bad internet day today at the house. Is that all it is? Mm-hmm. Is it actually because my provider is having trouble and not delivering great internet, or is it my house? And the fact that I can't discern those two problems, it bugs me, because it actually points more towards, like it's been fine. There's been no significant changes here. So why would it be a bad internet today? The logic there points to the internet provider having a bad time, but I can't control that. So my brain is like, well, let me start messing with the things I can control. And my mind wants to blame my Wi-Fi network. And now I have a little evidence pointing that way, because I'm sitting downstairs at my freaking kitchen table recording this podcast with my microphone and a bowl of marbles, because I don't have a stand for it, but it happens to hold the microphone okay.
Works.
And the internet's fine down here. So maybe it is my Wi-Fi network.
Or is it a different network upstairs? Is upstairs and downstairs different?
Well, I don't really know. It's not a different network that's a different name.
You don't
network,
have but Chris upstairs or Chris downstairs.
No, I don't have that, but what is upstairs is one of those little, it looks exactly like my router. It's EERO.
Yeah.
Okay. They just gave me
mesh network. Yeah, okay.
Is it mesh technically? I guess it is. Yeah. But it's like, why would, it's basically 10 feet away from my computer upstairs. Why would that router mesh thing get better communication with the downstairs one than just my computer that's sitting 10 feet away? You'd think like, I don't know that it's helping, is my point.
Yeah.
I would get it if it was halfway in between the main router and my computer as like a bridge, but not because they're equidistant away. Maybe it's hurting instead of helping. I don't know.
Those are supposed to solve it, but I feel in my experience, it's like you go around one wall in the house and it's like, dude, no, there's no Wi-Fi here. Or like, it's like, or like a bed frame just cancels it, or something like that. I don't know, Chris. At
my last house, I bought just to see if this would do it, because, sometimes it's like good. I even think this is relevant to startups sometimes. Like if you can buy your way out of a problem, sometimes you just should, like, can we just buy some more servers and that fixes our performance issues for a year? Cool. It didn't take us any development resources. We just spent a little money and it's fine. That's you have to do the math. Do you have the money? Is that actually a good solution or not? Yeah. But I decided to throw some money at the old house, and I had like 5 or 6 Google mesh router things, and they were just all over the house. It was unclear to me whether that actually helped. And I know that it hurt a little bit in the sense that like when any one of them ever lost power or fell off, you'd get, push notifications on your phone and stuff. And it 6x'd how often that happened.
Yeah.
So it was obnoxious. Unfortunately, I've never had something I bought or a setting I've tweaked or something be like, that was it. I did. Yeah. I fixed it.
Yeah, I mean, with Wi-Fi, it could be like switching channels. Like maybe your neighbor has that channel upstairs, and that's or whatever. Even know
there was such a thing as channels. There's channels
like a TV, or like a CB radio or something like that. That could be it.
Where do you change that?
Routers are supposed to like detect that problem and cycle through it and find the best one. one more question. Does your neighbor have like a little device attached to like a satellite dish with like a Pringles can or something coming out there? Is he jamming you?
Not
Have you
that I
considered
know of.
a jammer sort of situation?
Yeah, like they really dislike me.
Yeah, and so they're like, I'm going to jam his stinking Wi-Fi. Yeah, maybe that's what's
I
going on.
didn't even think about nefarious activity, but clearly,
Ooh, yeah.
oh my gosh,
That's dude. I'm like, how can I fix it, sir? What can I do, to like try to fix this? And so
I'm a solutions oriented guy.
the thing that gets me, yeah, man, grinding my gears. Here we go. Next grind. My
I do
gears
see
topic.
that my little. Now that I'm reminded, I have a little app for it. Oh, there's a software update available. Oh, I'm not going to click it right now. In the middle of a thing.
That might compound our current problem.
Yeah, it might. But I see the little mesh thing. It says it's offline upstairs. Why is that? Okay. Anyway,
Well,
that's
now
probably
we're getting
it.
closer. But no, man, I'm with you. Another thing that's very similar is like when you like lose your AirPods or something like that, and it's like, where are my AirPods? They're somewhere here. I just literally can't find them, And so you're like, well, I'll use Find My because that's why that whole friggin' thing exists, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Beep boop, spinner. It's like it doesn't find my AirPods when they're missing.
When you need to. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, can I like?
I like that Apple did that though, because it's like a good startup to me. It's like, what is a universal human experience that we could step in as technology and help? And I know you're painting a picture of it not actually helping, but it does sometimes help. I mean, it's helped me literally hundreds of times in the past.
I feel like it's 2 out of 100 for me.
Oh,
like, yeah,
because that's the specific thing you lose is the earbuds.
Either one like drops behind the bed and I forget about it or something.
Yeah,
or like one, I just set down the doodad or it's in a pair of pants or something, and where is it? I'm not finding it. So
those things don't fit in my ears, so I don't have that particular experience. But one I do have is that so they make Air tags that you can put anywhere you want. I like those, but the form factor of them is a little thick. So I had one in my wallet for a long time, and it ended up being fine, but sometimes it would fall out, and it wasn't designed in there. And there's this third-party company, I can't remember now, but you just Google, Air or Find My compatible wallet card or something.
Yeah.
But it's just a credit card size thing you slipped in your wallet. And I considered it a huge upgrade because it does work with the system. And I like that Apple has opened it up to third parties. But then only to realize it doesn't have two freaking crucial things that the other things have. One is a little beep. When yours does work, can you make your AirPods beep at you, or will they not do that?
they should. That's what I'm trying to do, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't do that. It
Doesn't. But that's not because it doesn't support that feature. There's just something wrong with whatever's going on with you. Like,
I believe
do other people's beep?
I assume other people's beep. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a feature inside there called Find Nearby. So it's one thing it'll tell you if you left them at the office or something, or you left them at the bar downtown, whatever. Then you can see on the map. But once you're within 20, 30 feet, there's another button you press in the Find My app. It says Find Nearby that turns into this like big floating arrow that gets you really close to where they are. This third-party wallet card, it doesn't beep and it doesn't have Find Nearby. So while it is compatible with the system and it generally works with mine, it doesn't have those two really nice features. So a little unfortunate.
Yeah. No, I want stuff to work and it never does, I feel like, or half works or something. Like I have a wallet, a magnetic wallet, the MagSafe wallet or whatever on my, which is weird. I can like,
so you're a zero cash guy, huh?
I'm a zero cash guy. No wallet, dude. I'm I'm free. I'm free from that life. What's funny is I'll go to bed every night, detach the wallet so I can put it on the mag charger, right? And every night, about 4 minutes after I do that, bloop, alert, you left your wallet somewhere near your home address. Yeah, dude.
Oh my God.
It's bedtime. I do this every night. Which again, I want that feature when I go somewhere, but I don't want it when
I wonder if, like not to, like
the
just to be
device
your
doesn't
tech
know.
therapist a little
Yeah.
bit. Isn't there, can't you click on that alert and it takes you to a screen and it says, don't warn me when it's at this location or something. But
maybe that.
you should try just to see if that little thing fixes you. Once in a while, somebody gives me, or I give somebody a little piece of tech device one way or the other that like changes their life in a good way. I had a guy come over, wasn't a big computer guy, a musician, and he had this old hard drive, and he needed to get some stuff off the old hard drive, and he actually had everything he needed except he had a laptop new enough that it only had USB-C on it, and his ancient hard drive was USB-A. So he didn't even really know it, but all he needed was a little converter, So I dig out a converter from a drawer. Interestingly, it was an ancient one. Remember these old Mac ones that was USB-C, right? It was like right when USB-C came out. And then it had a big fat thing at the end of a very short cable that had like multiple connectors on the end of it.
Yeah.
This one was old enough that one of them was VGA.
Heck yeah,
I remember
dude.
throwing it in my backpack because USB-C to VGA for some conferences sometimes.
Yeah,
These days
yeah.
it's all HDMI.
I did have a VGA one that really threw me off. Like, I think it was like Artifact here in Austin, like in 2017 or something. It was just like, what do I do?
So I plug his little hard drive in through that dongle, and it actually was really, really slow. But I heard it whir up. Like this hard drive was old enough that it was a spinning disk drive, And I was like, oh, buddy, we got to get this stuff off of here because these things have a shelf life,
Hey, so sorry, update. I took my wallet off when you said maybe it will give you an alert, right? And it just gave me the alert.
Gave you the alert.
That was like 5 minutes ago. And I'm going to click the alert and see if there is something. But I want you to finish your story. It does take me to there. And
I think you can turn off all alerts for that thing if you want. And then there's like a secondary option that's like, well, only don't warn me if it's at this particular location. Like, who cares if you leave your laptop at your house? Like that's not a problem, for example. No, you don't see it?
Notify when detached. Nope, I don't get that. Anyway, cool. I also get when I go on the road and I take my iPad or my computer and my phone, and I leave the hotel room, it's like, you left your iPad at the hotel room. And I'm like, dude,
I know.
did
Those
that
are
on
more,
purpose,
because
man.
those you really can set the thing to not warn you at a particular location. I think there's just special behavior for this MagSafe
it's
wallet.
low tech, right? It's just it's detecting the detach.
It's connected or not connected. Yeah, not location. Well, what are you going to do? All right. Well, so, anyway, one story was that then I was like, man, maybe this dongle is just slow as crap. And I get another little dongle that is just USB-C to USB-A. That was one job in the world. And it was like 5x speed improvement. So sometimes you really got to watch that. Those little dongles can have their own little bottleneck. I threw it right in the garbage, the old crappy one. And it turns out his hard drive was really not that slow, Now, with the good dongle, we were pulling stuff off it just fine. Then we threw the crap in a Google Drive or whatever, and now I don't have to worry about him losing stuff to some physical hardware or something. Pretty good. But while we were there, he pulled off a PDF and he double clicked it on his Mac laptop, and it opened up just some godforsaken PDF viewer app that I've never. It was just it looked like spamware. What is this?
Adobe Acrobat.
Yeah. How did you even do this? But he was aware of Preview. Preview is just free. It opens up PDFs just fine. He's like, well, why can't I get it to do this? I'm like, I don't even want to talk about how this happened to begin with, but I will show you how to do it. The average person does not know how to do this, I think. I'm sure everybody listening to this show does, but you get info on a PDF file, and it opens up this weird little tall rectangle thing on Mac, and then way at the bottom it says like open with or something. I forget which category it is. And then it gives you this drop down of apps that could potentially open that file, and I just switch it to preview. But that just changes it for one file. Then there's a button right next to it that says change all. Then you click that, and now all PDFs will open with that app. That is weirdly, like, I've known that since I've been a small boy somehow, I learned it once and now I know it, but it makes a lot of sense to me that nobody else would know that. And this
Yeah.
guy's like life has changed dramatically better. That's what I want. I when there's an opportunity like that, I want people to share that stuff with me, because I'm sure I do all kinds of dumb little stuff in my life, technology or otherwise, that's like, oh, dude, you never, I don't know, put baking soda in your ice tray or something. It makes better ice. Like, I don't know. That's not a real one. That's
okay.
a fake
I was
one.
like, if that's it, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to
No, like
all that
little,
stuff.
like you didn't. It's again, it's not a level 9,000 call 911 problem. It's a like
Paper cut
just
or
a
something.
inconvenient, yeah, a little paper cut, a little inconvenience. It's like, oh, there's a simple way to make that better. That's great, you know. So,
Yeah.
and speaking of apps taking over your computer and reassigning all the files, Firefox was gonna do an AMA the other day. I really wanted to.
Did they call it off?
Well, what? So they're doing it, but somebody was like, "Hey, can I ask like hard questions?" And they moderated the comment, you know, like so it's like, oh, okay,
Right.
we're not gonna really.
You can't even ask if you can ask hard questions. The answer is absolutely not.
The answer is just a no. So yeah, I'm just kind of like, okay, well, we kind of know how that's gonna go. So.
Well, we lost I think we lost a potential show recently because they wrote in and I said, hey, can I ask hard questions like this one exactly? And they're like, no, basically.
Don't
forget that.
Yikes. Jikes. Yeah.
Well enough. Like, if the answer is no, then what's the point of doing this? Like, I can just talk to Dave and it'll be fine, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Firefox is rough. I mean, there is only one question, and it's like, what's going on over there, team?
What's the plan, bud? Hey, bud, what's the plan?
I think the unfortunate truth is we would love to just do a browser, but that ain't enough. So what we're going to keep this browser alive, and they do a good job of that. Historically, are really good, like slower but better with standards. I think it still kind of holds up as truth for Firefox. But I don't think they can just, as much as we'd all like them to just stop doing weird crap and just make an absolutely excellent browser, I think the answer to that is no. I think they're going to continue chasing weird crap, and it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like they get money from the Goog, I think is we
now
all
we'll
understand
continue
that,
to do
right?
because yeah.
And then like they spend that just on these kind of big bets. It seems like it's like they're like, great money, half of it goes to blogs for dogs, like it's just like they just kind of come up, whatever's cool, they're just like, let's do that, like
right, but it's a big bet, but it doesn't seem like the bet they went all the way. Like, remember when like AI was becoming a thing, they're like, we do that too, and then you're like, did you though? Because I don't see it.
And also, like, what's the point? You're the privacy browser, like, is your audience
crypto is a thing? They got into that, but what?
Why?
The smaller things that they've done, like the VPN, make a little bit of sense to me. I mean, it's a crowded market. I don't think theirs is any better than the next person's, or whatever, but at least it makes a little bit more sense, especially with their mission statement. Or I don't know what their official mission statement is, but their public sentiment certainly is, we're the privacy browser. Maybe not as strongly as Brave or something, but
but they've even walked to that back a bit, and it's just like, what's the plan? This is your only competitive advantage, I feel like. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I liked the idea of what's the one I was using for a while that I like, Zen. That's a good browser, and it had Firefox in it, and I was very pleased with most of it. There was enough that pushed me away eventually, but it wasn't Firefox that pushed me away. I was pleasantly surprised at how smooth the web field, because it's been a while since I mainlined Firefox, and I was like, this is fine or good or better maybe in some ways. Like, sometimes the websites just feel different when you bounce around rendering engines, and I got so used to the feel of the web on Chrome that I just liked it. And you can just kind of sense when you're in a different rendering engine,
Yeah.
And I was worried that I wouldn't like the feel of Firefox, but I was wrong. I liked it.
Yeah, no, I think for me, it's like, I care about the open web. I using Firefox would be something on my mood board, my vision board of how I want to operate my life, digital life. But
Yeah.
I just, again, without like the plan and the vision, I don't know what it's doing. Like I like the dev tools better and extension sets and stuff like that. And in Chromium browsers, I was on Edge for 5 years, like bad Edge, Trident Edge for 5 years. Like I paid my dues. Like, tell me why I need to switch. So anyway, I think if people are using Firefox, again, Firefox needs to talk more about Firefox. Like, what is good about it? People should blog about it. Here's why I'm using it. Here's what's good about it. And if your reason is like because not Chrome, that's okay. That's one bullet point. That's not a whole blog post for me. Like because not Chrome is like, okay,
Sure, you can have that one, but what else?
What else? Why? What's the drive? What's the power? What's the what do I get?
Maybe they don't have a good answer for that. I mean, I think they do, I guess, but
Well, I'm talking
drive it home a little more. Also, maybe swing a little harder. We are living through years now of like real interesting browser UI innovation. It was like, I don't know if it's fair to say that Arc kicked it off, but it did in my mind, because apps like Vivaldi and Brave and stuff have been around longer, but didn't take, in my opinion, as big of swings at UI stuff,
Vivaldi, Opera, kind of in this kind of chips, not big drives, but just little chips that like kind of thinking different.
Right. But yeah, like when's the last time Firefox did like a major UI change? I mean, maybe a real Firefox user could point to stuff that I couldn't, like, I don't know, their private container tabs are cool. That's cool. You should ship that more. You can have two tabs right next to each other that are both open to Gmail that are logged into totally different accounts, like fully different, totally isolated login experiences. That's cool. That's a good feature. But like now you don't even have to think as hard about it because there's all these like cool little features that you can just steal because there's tons of browsers doing tons of interesting different UI stuff. I don't know. Are you afraid to? Do you not? Is it dangerous? Is it too rock the boaty? Could you have like a fork, your own fork of Firefox that rips these experiments more interestingly? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like their Gecko, Servo. I mean, like, what isn't Servo written in Rust? Like, it's a big reason Rust exists entirely. You know what I mean? Like, could we, like, can you amplify that stuff? Can you like talk about that sort of contribution model?
Maybe we should get Jake. Didn't Jake go back to, or not go back? I think he's there for the first time.
Jake works at Firefox now.
Archibald.
So maybe he could just tell us like why it's good. I'm trying to open Firefox, but
maybe he's such a candid guy. You'd think he would be, willing to talk about it, warts and all. But maybe not. Maybe he's getting older, and you got to toe the company line when you get
the number of
How's your mortgage, Jake?
Yeah, people are really cool until they get a mortgage. I think the number of cool people I know that are working at Firefox is going up, but it's again that's sort of like I don't know. You feel like you when we're in browser land and it's like, oh, I can name like 4 people who work there. Doesn't that feel weird? Like as somebody who like works on browsers, or as you and I specifically, web professionals who like use browsers, are in this world a lot, and it impacts all of our lives and stuff like that, where you're like, I think somebody works there, like, isn't that a weird vibe? That's a weird vibe to me. So.
It's weird when you know more people at Vivaldi than Mozilla.
Yeah. Yeah. So
maybe. All right. Well, that's just spitballing. I see you blogged about the MVP car. That was fun. I'm sure that it felt cathartic. I could tell in your writing that you're like, I don't know if like even the person who made it said, "Don't take it too seriously."
Yeah. No, I mean, I think I had this whole thing, and I was like, I should just reread the post out of due diligence. And I think it changed the whole vibe, just because I think the person who wrote it, Henrik Nyberg, it was just very candid. Like, it's not the best, but it's like, here's what it's trying to express. And so, like, I think I agree with like the spirit of iteration, but I do also have like tangible tactical problems with it. I think that I started writing this other post, and it was just like, I was talking to designers, and it was like, for this area, like, let's come up with like the simplest thing. I sometimes I even call it the $0 fix, like here's the $0 version of that idea. It's using a component we already have. It's called the select box, and we just select the thing, like rather than like build a whole UI to select a thing, so it's like, here's the $0 version. Can we just get by with that for now or whatever? And so there's, I think like it's kind of and I wanted to talk about that, like, but then I was kind of like building a skateboard car, but I was like, maybe we can make it really tactical. Like when I talk about make it simple from a web design perspective, what do I mean? And so this is kind of part 2 of that post, which is just like, part 1 is like a list, number 2 is like, maybe you start show hiding things in the list, don't show post by this guy or something like that, or don't show test posts or whatever.
Okay.
Part 3 is maybe some hierarchy, like, we got categories, so we're gonna like show categories or let you kind of click and filter categories.
Are you painting this as like an acceptable evolution of?
Yeah, kind of like it's the iterative spirit, but like do the simple version. When I say simple, I actually mean like start with a list, and then maybe there's some show hiding, maybe there's some hierarchy, like nesting, or this is more important than this or something like that, and we have some way to infer that, and then some rules around that, and then I think the next step is like editable, like somebody can write their own post or a comment or something like that. Like they can, like, this document is now editable, and there's an input field and stuff like that. And then the next phase would be like fully interactive, like just, likes, hearts, everything. Like, kind of all these actions kind of on top of the document or the list or document, a document is really just a list. It's bot or whatever, title, content, but but like, can we, kind of in clearer terms express simplicity when it comes to web development and design? Like where on the simplicity chart, how far do you want to go? Fully interactive, or could we just get by with a list? Like how complex does this need to be right now? So
okay. That's interesting, because I don't know. I accept that read on it, but it seemed to me more business related. The diagram, it was, to me, it mapped towards startups or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, can a startup ship something that users already can use, and then you add features and crap later with complexity, instead of just like a component or a website or something. It was more about,
I mean, I think, like I think like we were kind of discussing like on this work project, like what's the MVP of this, and like, and it's like, the simplest thing possible. Like, let's, if we can like push something off, we should, or, and I think it was trying to get like, but if I say the simplest thing possible, what you hear and what I hear is two different things,
right?
Like your idea of what's simple, or, so anyway, just trying to maybe draw a line in the sand of like what's simple, or, if you think about a whole app, like what you have to think about, like, what does it need to do? So it's probably like, I'll call it the BFB, big effing button, in a list, right? Like iTunes is a play button, Spotify is a play button in a big list of tracks, right? Like it has to do that one thing, and then you get into these like social.
Well, that's a good example, because you're like, yeah, you're right. That is what it is at its core. But like, it's actually not good enough if that's all it does, because Spotify exists and because all these other apps exist, that you can't be like, I'm going to get into the music streaming space and I'm going to look at the MVP car for my motivation. And the first thing that I'm going to ship to customers is a list of tracks with a button on it. That's not acceptable. It's not good enough. It doesn't do the things that users want to do. You're not relevant in that market. You want to enter the market CodePen is in, put 3 text areas on a page and smash them all together and show the rendered output. No, it's not good enough. It doesn't do the things that you need it to do. You don't have an account for the minimum viable product there is a lot further along than a skateboard. You have to enter at feature parity-ish.
Yeah. And I think that's a good way to discuss it too, is like where, if you're in an established market, where do you have to enter? What do you have to deliver to start here? If you're trying to rethink the music player space or the code editing space, can you enter over here? Maybe. Yeah. Like you can enter at the skateboard, but I think where the MVP car falls down for me is just like, yeah, a skateboard. It's like our ideas of what the skateboard version of CodePen is super different. And so what can we put parameters around that when we're talking about it? Can we actually be like, no, I mean is it just a big button or a big text input? Maybe, yeah. But when we're talking about that's the very simplest version. And I think what you're saying is how simple does it need to be? It can't be that simple. It has to be a little more complex. Does it have to be the full social, CodePen, live editing, everything, sharing presenter mode? Probably not, so it could probably go back a bit, but what does it have to be if you're trying to redo something that exists, So.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, that was cathartic to talk about it as well as you write about it. Sure. I think.
Yeah. I also, did you see my CodePen about the functions, the ramp functions?
No, I saw, I see you used that word and then I didn't completely read the full thread, but it seemed like an attribute based thing, right?
Yeah. So it, the whole thing is, I'll send the link here in the old Discord here, but the whole thing is basically I've been on this tokens project for a very long time, and it's what if no tokens? Because you send down type size 100, type size 200, it's type size or small XXL, SM, something like that. And so I just started playing around, and I think I saw somebody too. I thought about this before, but I think I saw somebody recreate open prop shadows in
functions,
and it was that's cool because you have a shadow, and then it has a base shadow, and then you have an opacity for the depth or whatever, and then but you can also pass a color to it, like a red shadow, and then you don't really get the light. If you passed a color, you don't get light dark because it's you chose red, so that's just going to be red forever. But if you didn't pass a color, it would try to do a light dark function to give you a white shadow and a black shadow, different in light and dark modes or whatever.
Yeah, it's got some fancier logic, but you don't have to see and deal with it at all. You just send in red or whatever.
Yeah, you say whatever shadow 1 or whatever, and it's I know what shadow 1 is. So
yeah, anyways. Is add function better for this? Maybe I like how it abstracts stuff, but it has this thing where it only outputs one value. So to me it's cool, but mixins will be better, and mixins can use functions, and then we're really cooking, because sure, you're using it for box shadow, but what if it needs to do more than that, set a background or a border or something also? I prefer having not be limited to the value of one thing. I like having more power than that. And That's why I almost think like ATTR parentheses is almost better as even for a type ramp, Dave, because then you could say data font ramp 2, and then anything that has data font ramp on it, you can use it on multiple properties. So you can set the font size, but you can set the line height too, and you can change the font family if you need to, and you can change the letter spacing, and all of those things have access to the value that's set in data font ramp.
Yeah.
And then you can also grab the value off it as an integer or whatever, or as some other value, and manipulate it. Use calc and do things like that. So function is okay here, but I don't think that's the unlocking concept.
No, I kind of like took this down and started doing like a bunch of different ways. I'm sharing a screen here, so I'll try to talk through it. Like the first function was like this type ramp, right? And it's basically t-shirt sizing, like small XXS, but like we start in the middle at level 0, and then we move up and we move down, right?
Cool. Yeah.
And so type level -3 is 10 pixels. It's super small. And type level 3 is, what is it?
I love that you coded all this out already.
Pixels. So great. It's 28 pixels. So in the function itself, I can probably make that bigger. The function itself is like, 10 lines of code or something like that, but it's, has a default font size of 16 pixels. I probably wouldn't even have to specify that. It's whatever you set in the document, and then, this is sort of like when you have strict type sizes that don't really follow some kind of math, right? Like, if you're kind of just picking willy-nilly, like 10, 13, I don't know, 16, 42, something like where there's not like a rhyme or reason to the type sizes you picked or the line heights you picked right there, I think that would be, mix-ins here would be cool too for like line height, but I think you just need to have like a separate line height function, right? So, or line height's always relative, or however you want to code that, right?
Or the mix-in just calls both of those two functions.
If
just
the mix-in,
further abstraction.
Yeah, mix-in would be cool here too, right? Like just like it returns 2 different font sizes, The second one I made was kind of that attribute one, like you're talking about, but a lot of like design systems will do these like size ramps, like based on a multiplier, right? Like, so you say like size 1 or whatever, Tailwind's famous for this, right? Like M-4 is large. 4 multiplies the base margin, which is usually 4 pixels times 4, right? So in functions, which I think even, Tailwind 4 is kind of heading this direction. You get into the size ramp in a multiplier, and it's the base size, and you could set that base size however you want. And I set it to 10 pixels times the multiplier, and then it'll multiply and do that. And then I even did like in the CSS. What's cool is I can like do this, and then I specify the size on the element, and so I am using adder here to control the size. So you could do gaps, you could do sizes, you could do I don't know, corner 5 or whatever you want to do, right? Like but yeah, and so I actually set the border radius to the size ramp divided by 4 just to give it like a little less,
a little connection to it. I see. That's
so
neat.
we're kind of using the same value ramp, but we're kind of modifying it or whatever.
Yeah,
so,
I see a lot of the value here is just like stop thinking in very specific values and start thinking in abstracted values. The ramp values, like
sort of like
which one do you want?
Values.
1, 2, or 3?
Where on this slider do you want to be, right? Like, and then if you're just like, I don't care, like I just care that it's a multiple of 4, and you could even do half multiples. So now it's multiples of 2 or whatever. I'm doing 10 here, but just for like visual reasons. But like, you could maybe like kind of do that. The next one is like classic colors, right? So the color ramp is what's cool here is color. You can picture like a grid of things where they go from dark to light, right? And they have numbers in them from like 100 to 900 or something like that. The numbers are all made up. I wouldn't put too much into that. But the color ramp function takes a color, let's say red by default, and has a lightness 0.2. And then we splat it into the OKLCH, like color
The
from
relative color syntax.
the relative color syntax, var color, and then I reset the lightness to the new lightness value, and then spit out this CH.
Oh, that's just so weirdly simple looking.
Weirdly simple looking, right? And then like you know, and then your color ramp swatch is like, okay, the color, and then I did this. This is fun for me, but a calc sibling index divided by sibling count to get the like progress, right? Like,
so that's cool.
I'm calculating my lightness based on how many siblings it has and what number of siblings. So it's like 3 out of 9, and it'll like do that, like that amount of lightness. And so, anyway, that's fun. That's a fun thing you can do.
But do you have to? Could the function itself know about siblings, or does that information get lost?
No, maybe.
Because now it's like a little unholy in that there's some logic outside here and there's some logic inside, you know?
Yeah, I could maybe work on that. I think you just like, this was just for me, like generating a color.
Right.
Like, I think you'd have to like actually do like 0.1 or something like that, you know, or something like that, you know?
That's how you'd actually use it.
That's how you'd actually set a color, right?
I like to see what this is. It reminds me of that like kind of bumper bowling CSS in a good way. Like you are designing an API for usage. You're being asked to, you don't use the relative color syntax. This function will. Please use that instead, only ever, because that gives the proper level of abstraction and control. And if it turns out we need to increase the size of those bumpers a little bit, like have a minimum lightness or something, we can do that at the function level. And because everybody's using this API, now we can adjust things. Like that's what I think about.
Yeah. Now, you know, like even like contrast would come into here. Like, you know, we're maybe again like mix-ins away from contrast. Like I want my background this, and here are my 2 font colors or something, you know, like, and like I can choose which font color to use based on, you know,
for
luminosity. Sure. So, and I think like there's problems with this. It's naive, you know, bear with me, but like, I think it's interesting to think about like, you know, this, you know, is a token system, you know, where before it would have been like root, type ramp, -3 10 pixels, right? And then it'd be type ramp minus, and I'd do that times however many type ramps.
Use the thing.
And then, now it's like, and then color ramp red 200 is whatever, red to whatever, tomato or whatever,
thing.
Right? Like, so then like color ramp pink 100 light pink, you know, like
well, it can proliferate and there can be a zillion of these things. I mean, it does have some advantages in that it's like a one-stop shop for the value that you're looking at, you know.
And so this becomes your token ramp for rampable values like sizes, colors, you know, however you want to code it. I mean, this is also like level -3. You could also make this level XXS, you know, like however you do your design system, right? Like I would not do this, because what happens is some chump comes in here and is like, I want XS nudge, you know? And so I don't know. And that could still happen in this, but like, you know, we're you know, I don't know. It's experimenting, I guess, is what I'm kind of where I'm at right now. But like, I think, I don't know, this just, these functions that are coming to CSS, I should say it's Chrome only, Chromium only, so Chrome and Edge only right now. But it has the potential to be kind of cool for sort of generative sort of styles, but also maintain a consistency and a rhythm that your company is comfortable with. So, and
yeah, it's one of those things. Like I don't think it unlocks anything. It's syntactical. It's you know, it's giving you an opportunity to move logic around, and sometimes that's the nudge that makes for a better system, because it forces you to rethink things and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like this could be like heading, right? The new heading for the type ramp, and you're like, our headings are just type ramp, and then whatever level we want to set, and that could be an ARIA level if you wanted, it's a little weird to be like heading 1 ARIA level 2 or whatever like that, but like, you're kind of like sort of just saying like, pick this font size. And we used to have font in HTML, like literal font tags, like font, and you do
sure
like size
works.
7 or something like that, let's see, font size 4, hello font. Let's see if it does work.
Is that gonna work?
Curious. Where am I in my document? Fridge. I'm at the bottom. Let's see if font still works. I'll put it at the top. Font size 3, world font. Are these going to be smaller? A little bit, yeah.
It totally
so
is.
It still works. So, but the issue here is you don't get to pick those font sizes unless you set like
an
size
attribute or something,
and a CSS attribute or whatever. So I think that's like the difference there. Font size large. That's funny.
Everything old is new again. Oh, is that what it maps to?
Yeah.
Oh, your dev tools must be open in a different window or something.
No, it's this window. It doesn't show or whatever.
No, it's like blocked out or something.
Weird.
I
Okay.
can visualize what you're looking at
Yeah,
on the pseudo podcast listener audience.
Style sheet. The browser style sheet is like font size medium for.
How does it do it
3,
with an attribute selector for size?
No, it's just like I think in the font tag or whatever. So let me see. Oh shoot, I could put it back here and inspect it. But yeah, it's font attribute style, font size large. Like I think it just knows the size.
Attribute style.
function.
I know. It's just like, could you put the size attribute on a div and would it respect it or not? It has to be the font tag. Just because it depends on how it's in the user agent style
sheet. It has
sheet.
to be the font tag, yeah. So like, and that was, I think, historically was the pain in the butt with that too. It was like you wanted to change type sizes and then you're like, I want to change the whole system, and now I have to go through everything. It was like pre-CSS, right? Like, so you had to change everything. So maybe I'm
you can already do it
reinventing
now
that
a little bit. I'd noticed I was looking at the CSS Day website like months ago, back when I was at that, and they set all their font sizes with the keywords. You forget those are in there almost, but font size large, font size X dash large, XX dash large. Those are like, it's almost like tomato and stuff. They're named keywords for stuff, and it was cool how they did it, because it's, in a way, it's like ceding control over, like, I don't actually care. I just want some kind of system for sizing these things, and I think it's kind of cool. It'd be few and far between to see that in use these days. I think designers desire a little bit more control than that, but it's just neat that there is a baked-in system in CSS for that already. If you can stomach yourself to use it, just use the keywords.
Yeah. No, you can. Anyway, I think this is interesting to me, like this mix of attributes in the world, the mix of like, the ability to sort of like specify ramps and sizes and defaults and things like that. Like, it's going to be kind of cool. Like, where we used to have to do a bunch of heavy lifting before. So, now you can kind of just use these ramps or ramp functions to kind of get around things. So it could be cool. Could be a, I don't know, new world in CSS. So hopefully that's, something that happens in other browsers this decade. So it's getting late in the decade, ain't it?
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you. Those things, they seem, I can't tell. Like, are we trying to guess? Like, when is @ function going to come to Firefox? Yeah, it depends on if it gets into interop, which I kind of missed the voting this year. It was never really voting. It's kind of like voice your opinion in some public way. But I think we'll find out. I don't know. When do we find out? It's not for a while. January, maybe?
Yeah, I think
we find out what's
January or December, yeah.
January 20. But, who knows? It's been great the last 2 years, and I think I tuned out a little bit, because last year I was like, well, I have some thoughts, but a bigger overarching thought is, like, do whatever you want. Literally anything on these lists is good for the web. And if you smart people have decided that these are the ones you're going to pick at, probably because they have the most impact, then more power to you,
Yeah. There's yeah, it would be cool just to.
We're not going to get this. It's too early for these.
I don't think this is going to work, but it would be cool. I think it's really powerful. I actually, there's this idea. We have time for this, maybe. There's this idea of like allowing CSS to, like, you could polyfill CSS. Have you heard about that sort of idea kicked
Tell
around?
me what you're thinking.
So like a new grid mode, masonry or whatever we're calling it, grid stack or whatever. You could like give the ability to polyfill features in CSS. So when I ship new CSS, I can ship a polyfill or something like that too. And maybe that comes with some scripting, like DOM scripting or something like that. It sounds a lot like the Houdini painting.
It does.
Which I was like, we didn't like that, but maybe we like this. Maybe with functions and this sort of, like we can get things that, I think how this ramp idea started was I was just like, dude, it'd be cool to have like ramps in CSS where I could be like, pick the +1 ramp value from the current ramp value, or whatever. Like the current type value, just make it bigger or whatever. And with functions and things like that, like I can start to kind of build the functions into CSS that I wish existed. These are my custom functions, and there's enough primitives like calc and if or when or whatever it is, like that we're kind of able to start exploring that. And so that's kind of cool from a CSS perspective. Like CSS becomes can be much more programmatic in a way. So I would think browsers would be incentivized to work on that feature because it enables them to have to code less features later because they're like, oh, you can just do that with functions, like, hey, just do that. Solve it once sort of situation. So,
yeah. I was mostly kind of curious, like, what kind of things are low-hanging fruit in CSS? Like what kind of features in CSS are like a one-day PR and which things are like a year-long PR? Well, I have a somewhat of a concept of it. Like if it was like sine or cosine or something, like those are easy. You just implement the math and functions, it does a value.
Easy.
Yeah. But like then a custom function, I suspect somehow isn't easy because it's not about implementing the function. It's about like new at rule and new parsing and new like what all the stuff that could go wrong syntactically inside of a function and stuff. I bet is just a very complicated thing. But if it's a spec'd out existing function, I think they just knock it out.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like value selector property. Value
language feature
rule selector property or something like that.
Like in terms of a difficulty ramp.
Yeah, the difficulty ramp. Because I think new values are probably super hard, like you're saying. Like, new properties, like, I don't know, fit text or something like that, or something like that as a property. They'd be like, ew, we can't make that. That's going to take forever. I think Kizu's working on that right now. But like, in HTML, I've heard too, it's like attributes are generally easier than elements for sure, like, so we can chuck an attribute on there. That's easy, or an element. So
I see Firefox has got view transitions now, both cross document and single. God, good job, Firefox. That's great.
We're there. We're living it.
Yeah. I published my list of, interesting CSS stuff this year. And I guess the first one on there is animate to auto, that like interpolate size and calc size and stuff. That will be my vote for interop. Because that's Chrome only and it seems a little bit more stable. So let's do that.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. I want that one. So.
Okay.
All right, let's wrap it up. Thank you, listener, for downloading this in your podcatcher choice. Be sure to share it up. That's how people find out about the show. Follow us on the... Oh, I was over on Web Whiskey Whatnot, so go check that out. So with Adam Argyle.
Nice.
And so, like, go listen. That was good. So a little cross promo there. And then, join us in the Discord, patreon.com/shop.show. Chris, do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Shop.show.com.